Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Vanessa Chan, and I am the Chief Commercialization Officer at the U.S. Department of Energy. It is my pleasure to welcome all of you to this special event announcing the selections of our 2021 Technology Commercialization Fund. Successful commercialization requires technologies to successfully navigate the challenges across the research, development, demonstration, and deployment, or RD&D continuum. TCF helps technologies by funding the maturation activities needed to prepare technologies for commercial adoption. We have an incredible lineup of participants with us today, including hopefully a member of Congress, since he's right now caught up on some business on the Hill, but is trying his best to make it, 2 directors from our national labs, and 2 small business leaders who are eager to share their experiences working with the department to create new technologies and build stronger communities. And of course, it's my great pleasure to welcome our host, Secretary of Energy, Jennifer Granholm, who will lead us through today's discussion. Madam Secretary, the floor is yours.
Great. Thank you so much, Vanessa, for that kind introduction. And good afternoon, everybody. I am so thrilled you all could join us for such an important and really exciting conversation about how we're wielding the power of American innovation to seize these massive opportunities for our workers and our businesses and our nation. So, of course, chief among those opportunities is the global clean energy market, which is going to be worth at least $23 trillion by the end of this decade. Can you imagine the opportunities that presents? $23 trillion. President Biden is dead serious about making sure America corners that emerging market. And that's why he's set these ambitious goals to cut our emissions in half by 2030, to achieve 100% clean electricity by 2035, and to reach the net zero carbon emissions threshold by 2050. So getting there is going to require the power of science and the power of innovation at an unprecedented scale. And it's going to require a no holds barred campaign to deploy these game-changing technologies everywhere. And that means that we need the investments that President Biden has proposed in the American Jobs Plan, which is being negotiated on Capitol Hill today. You may have heard there has been some breakthroughs in the bipartisan negotiations, so we're very excited about that. If that is brought over the finish line, that plan is going to help us innovate in a huge range of clean energy technologies, from hydrogen to advanced nuclear to next generation solar, next generation wind, and entice even more businesses to take those technologies to market. So if we can pull it all off, we're going to create millions of jobs for our people. We're going to spur world-leading businesses and industries in every pocket of the country. We're going to reclaim our economic competitiveness, and ultimately, we're going to position America to win the 21st century. And of course, to do all of that, government and private sector must join forces every step of the way. And while we're psyched about the once-in-a-generation opportunity of this American Jobs Plan, you know, this isn't our first rodeo. DOE has been building these bridges between the public and private sector for years. We really are. We are truly the technology tip of the spear when it comes to deploying clean energy tech. So for one, we have some of the most brilliant researchers and scientists and engineers in the world at our national labs. And they make pure magic happen in the energy innovation space. And we have $40 billion in loan authority at DOE in our loan programs office, ready to help America's bravest entrepreneurs get their best ideas off the ground. And we have Vanessa's indomitable team, which has so many tools to turn these promising ideas from the labs into real world impact. And so, of course, that includes our flagship partnering mechanism, which is the Technology Commercialization Fund, or TCF, Technology Commercialization Fund. And that TCF is all about getting some of our best research into the hands of savvy entrepreneurs who can fast track them into the affordable and commercial ready technologies for the marketplace. And here's how it works. So our labs secure buy-in from the private sector partners for a range of cutting edge projects, and then we match their funds. And that way businesses get the benefit of getting in on the ground floor of these amazing new solutions. And with it, they get the potential of creating a wellspring of new jobs and economic opportunity for their communities. So to date, the TCF has funded more than 380 projects in partnership with organizations that range from automotive manufacturers to energy storage companies to utilities, bioengineering companies, solar providers, even aerospace companies. They've collaborated on all sorts of very cool solutions, like a machine learning algorithm that can speed up the design process for products like auto parts, or an automated software that can help remove barriers to deploying rooftop solar by streamlining the permitting process. And I'll note we have a really exciting announcement about that in the next month. But together, they have harnessed all of these projects have harnessed more than $140 million in federal funds, and then unlocked more than $170 million in private sector dollars. So today, I'm excited that we have announced more than $65 million for this year's TCF selections. That's going to 68 new lab projects that reflect the staggering diversity of DOE's research and development missions, from clean energy to advanced manufacturing to building efficiency to next generation materials. And they're backed by private sector partners in 25 states, from California to Wisconsin, from Tennessee to Arizona, from New York to Colorado. And that means this funding is truly going to have a nationwide impact for workers looking for jobs that can launch their families into the middle class, for companies who are looking to stake their claim in the skyrocketing clean energy market, and for a country that's moving at full speed to seize this massive opportunity for our planet and for our people. So I'm so excited to see these projects move forward. And now I want to get to a conversation with some of the folks who are making that happen. So we ready for that? We're gonna talk to some awardees who've received the TCF funding in the past. And so here with us today are Paul Kearns, who is the director of DOE's Argonne National Lab just outside of Chicago, and Kelly Senecal, who is the co-founder and owner of Convergent Science in Madison, Wisconsin, which has been a TCF partner since 2019. So Paul, can I start with you?
Yes.
All right. You were at the helm of one of DOE's first national labs, Argonne, and I hear that you have a fantastic partnerships team out there that's always looking for new opportunities to solve these big problems by engaging with American industry innovators. So tell us, how has the TCF fit into that plan, and what kinds of folks are you looking for when it comes to partnerships?
Well, thank you very much, Madam Secretary, for the question and really for the opportunity to participate this afternoon in the TCF Roundtable and the awards announcement. I very much appreciate it. At Argonne, we're focused on delivering impact through discovery, science, and development of next generation technologies that will help transform society for the better, much of you spoken about already. Working in close partnership with industry is essential. It absolutely is essential to moving innovations from the laboratory to commercial deployment. The Technology Commercialization Fund, or TCS as we love to call it, has really helped drive new and exciting industry partnerships at Argonne and expanded the commercial impact of our research and development to the benefit of the U.S. economy. TCS has also brought new energy and great opportunities to our scientists and our engineers. So really fantastic to see that happen, really helping them realize greater value from the research they do, and certainly their work with industry partners to solve problems or develop a new product or service is quite exciting for them to see, witness firsthand. The insights our TCF partners have brought to Argonne is really helping us learn how to more effectively bridge what we commonly call the valley of death, and to be more efficient in moving our ideas from the laboratory to commercial deployment. So we're very pleased with that. A great example, as you've already highlighted, of the impact that TCS has brought to Argonne is our collaboration with Convergent Science, a relationship that now spans more than a decade. You'll hear about this from Kelly in some detail in just a moment. I wanted to talk about Convergent Science really because it has many of the attributes of a great partner for the laboratory and participant in TCF. And I'd say, like our researchers, they are passionate about their ideas and the benefit they can provide to society. They're committed to being among the best, seeking to create new, hard to imagine advances and to understand how to improve the products and services they offer. They're eager to work side by side with the talented researchers at Argonne. They ask difficult questions. They share their knowledge as we learn together. They're working across disciplines and certainly making good use of the world-leading scientific research facilities available at Argonne and the other national laboratories. Lastly, I'd say our ideal partners are focused on making a difference and creating opportunities and creating jobs. We take great pride in our partnerships with industry. It's important, and certainly the TCF is a critical element, critical component of our ability to work with industry. I'd like to close really by saying it's a pleasure to be here to celebrate the dedication and resolve of our industrial partners and the impacts they are having on U.S. competitiveness. So thank you very much, Madam Secretary.
Thanks, Paul. I mean, listening to you, it's clear that while you make your partners better, but your partners make you better too. So it's great to hear that enthusiasm for the partnership. And Kelly, you're one of the partners that we're talking about as a business owner with somebody who has a history of working with the national labs, including through the TCF. Can you give us an idea about what is a collaboration look like with a lab like Argonne? What does it allow you to do? How does it help your business grow? And probably most importantly, how can we support people like you in building stronger communities around these clean energy technologies?
Yeah, thank you so much, Secretary Granholm. And I want to begin by saying just how honored I am to be speaking with you and the rest of the panel today. So my company, Convergent Science, has a long history of working with all the U.S. national labs, including both Oak Ridge and Argonne. And I want to commend both Paul and Thomas for their incredible work leading those facilities. So while we work closely with all the labs, today I want to highlight our long-standing relationship with Argonne. Now, we recently celebrated 10 years of collaborating with the computational multiphysics team managed by Subendu Sam. Now, I've known Subendu since he was a graduate student in Chicago, and he has really built a world-class team at Argonne. So a little background about my company. We're a small business that is 100% owned by our 4 founders. We're headquartered in the great city of Madison, Wisconsin. We started our company out of grad school at the University of Wisconsin-Madison over 20 years ago, and we're currently around 150 people globally. Now, working with Argonne gives us access to big science tools that we would otherwise not have access to. Now, what do I mean by big science tools? Well, some of the world's fastest supercomputers are at the labs. And the advanced photon source at Argonne provides unprecedented experimental data. It's really helped us push our simulations forward. And as we've already mentioned today, let's not forget the people at the labs. What an extremely talented group of engineers and scientists whose mission is to push science forward. So we're a small team at my company developing an industry-leading computational fluid dynamics software package. So that's a mouthful. Our software gives industry the tools it needs to design everything from wind turbines to batteries to highly efficient and clean internal combustion engines. So some of our competitors are part of billion-dollar companies, both foreign and domestic. Now, partnering with the labs helps give us a competitive edge with our products that are actually developed right here in the United States. So one quick example with Subendu and his team has come out of the TCF program, and it's a project that interfaces artificial intelligence methods, and more specifically machine learning, with our Converge CFD software. It's an extremely powerful combination that has allowed industry to design more efficient and cleaner products significantly faster. And as we know, faster is really critical as we move toward meeting our climate goals. So this process has been recognized by receiving multiple prestigious high-performance computing and DOE awards. We also have a new TCF project with Argonne that was just awarded that also deals with AI and energy systems. And finally, we're in the middle of a TCF project that looks to commercialize high-fidelity ignition models that will allow us to push the boundaries of engine efficiency and hence reduce greenhouse gas emissions. Now, this really just scratches the surface of the extensive work we've done with Argonne. And I'd like to say going forward, I hope that the TCF and programs like it continue to grow. They really do provide an excellent framework for getting the cutting edge research developed by the labs into the hands of industry to produce clean energy technologies. Thank you.
Awesome. Kelly, you really are doing a lot of work with the labs. That's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing. A great way to start us off, because now I'm going to welcome our next guests who are also involved with getting some of this year's TCF awards. Joining us now are Jeremy McCool, who's the CEO of HEVO Inc. In Brooklyn, who's going to be working with Thomas Zachariah, who's that team at Oak Ridge National Lab, who you already have heard about, on a super powered wireless EV charging system. So glad you could both be with us today. And I'm just wondering, Jeremy, let me just start with you about a little bit more, if you could tell us about your company and what you're excited to get out of this new partnership with Oak Ridge.
Well, first, thank you, Madam Secretary. It's a wonderful pleasure to be here today. Obviously, we're excited about what is on the forefront for EV charging in general. We are the first company in the world to create an SAE UL certified technology. So we are a commercial player in wireless EV charging today. And that's being manufactured here in the great city of New York City, in Brooklyn, New York, as the first and the only commercial serial production technology for wireless EV charging. But what we see on the forefront of this is faster, bi-directional, and also the ability to drive and charge at the same time. All these autonomous electric vehicles have to charge somewhere. In the eventuality of an autonomous electric vehicle future, we really see the necessity for wireless charging. So after all, who wants to plug in a vehicle that can drive itself? That would be pretty insane. So what we have teamed up and are teaming up with the Oak Ridge team and with Thomas's team is to advance hyper-fast charging, where one day you can pull up to a cafe and get a coffee and come back out and have 60 miles 5 minutes later added to your vehicle. The day when you don't have to pull off and charge on the side of the road anymore, and you can just drive and charge instead of having to do that. That's what we're advancing together. And over the course of the next several years, we're going to show the world what is capable and what the US can do when we team up together.
Okay, that sounds magical. I'm super interested in how that happens, that you can charge without plugging in. So I'm excited to see this evolve. And so we are joined by your partner in all of this, Thomas. You are the director at another of our national labs. In fact, another of our first national labs. Some people think the labs are only steeped in basic science research, which is no doubt obviously a critical part of their portfolios, but hardly the sole focus of institutions like yours. The labs do so much work with the private sector on getting your amazing ideas into the marketplace. Maybe you can tell us more about the other tools and programs that DOE and the labs are using to support commercialization and why maybe that end game is so important.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. It is a pleasure to join you and our partners. I just want to congratulate Kelly and Jeremy on winning this DOE contract. And I must say that Vanessa has brought a tremendous amount of energy, as you already recognized, in supporting this important aspect of what we do at the National Laboratory. Madam Secretary, you already acknowledged the power of science and innovation, and you lead a system, an agency and a system of laboratory that is the nation's principal funder of physical sciences. All things physical sciences, Department of Energy actually supports, maintains, both in terms of its partnerships with the academia as well as with industry. And so this is really a particularly important opportunity, because if you think about our partnership with HEVO, it actually started with a science investment 11 years ago, a small seed funding that actually germinated this idea, matured, and then in partnership with the private sector. So Oak Ridge National Laboratory has a rich history of working with the private sector. We seek and actually develop industry and technology transfer partnership that increases the Department of Energy's and laboratories' economic impact accelerate deployment of ORNL developed technologies, and strengthen innovation ecosystems regionally and nationally. Each year we work with more than 100 companies, and more than 20 startups have been formed based on ORNL developed technologies in the last few years. So we're really encouraged by all these opportunities. And there are many tools that are available that it's already been discussed, but I would like to step through some of the things just because everybody can have an understanding of the wide array of opportunities for industry to partner with the National Laboratory System, all 17 of us, because we bring a breadth of technology to the industry partners. As Paul already acknowledged, it's not a one-way street, because while the technology we gain from the interaction with industry, they bring problems that drive innovation, that drive that energy and passion in our scientists in order to go tackle arm in arm with the industry to drive the solutions. So first of all, as a science laboratory, both of us as a science laboratory, we are stewards of major user facilities, and Kelly already acknowledged his access to the computing user facilities at Argonne and certainly at Berkeley and Oak Ridge and other places. Likewise, we are stewards of the light sources and the neutron sources, research reactors. These are unique world-leading tools that industry can have access. And if they are partnering with us and making the information more broadly available to spur innovation, it is at no cost to industry. And we have the ability to also partner with them in a much more proprietary way, in which case there is a cost associated with that. But the tools exist to do that. Now, as you mentioned, the Technology Commercialization Fund, there are a number of technology partnership programs, particularly in the applied energy programs, where we translate our basic science into applied energy programs. And so, for example, the Advanced Manufacturing Office has rapid access CRADAs. These are quick turnaround cooperative research and development agreements that we can have with industry so they can access our technology very quickly. We also have industry partners come and spend time with us in driving new innovations. Sometimes they co-locate with us in order to have that fast sort of place-based innovation, if you will, that occur at the laboratory. Another major program that the Department of Energy funds at our national laboratories at Argonne, Berkeley, and Oak Ridge is sort of this lab-embedded entrepreneurship program where industry can come in, or we actually, new entrepreneurs can come in and spend time with us. So Oak Ridge has the Innovation Crossroads. Argonne's program is called Chain Reaction, and Berkeley's called Cyclotron Road. And so there are a number of such programs, all of which creates this opportunity to collaborate and drive innovation. So once again, I want to take this opportunity to congratulate our partner. And I cannot wait for that day when I'm going to be able to get on the interstate and drive from Tennessee to California without having to stop for recharging.
I'm with you on that. That is so true. Well, thank you, Thomas, and Kelly and Paul and Jeremy for, giving us a little picture about what the great work that Vanessa is doing and how critical this announcement today is as just the tip of the iceberg of how much innovation can flow with these partnerships out of the lab. So with that, I'll turn it right back over to Vanessa.
Thank you, Secretary Granholm. And, I don't know about you, but I'm so inspired by these partnerships. That was really a truly fantastic glimpse into how the DOE is engaging deeply with the innovation community to tackle some really big challenges, like not having to drive off to charge your car, that also will support our climate agenda that we're trying to drive. So at the heart of successful technology commercializations really are public-private partnerships. Not one organization on their own can bring technology to market. And really, these examples today were to showcase how our national lab directors are leading the way to partner to bring our technologies to market. So thank you, Madam Secretary, Directors Kearns and Zachariah, and of course, Kelly and Jeremy for your time, energy, ingenuity, and the critical role that all of you are playing to help us meet our really ambitious climate agenda here in the U.S. And so for everyone that's tuned in, thank you once again for joining us today. And be sure to visit us at energy.gov/OTT to learn more about ways to partner with DOE and our incredible national labs. And you also can see there the other awardees for the TCF this year. We're very excited about all of them, and we look forward to collaborating with all of you out there. So thank you, and talk to you soon.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.